And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Thursday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and we are back with more Steelers news, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get right into it, kick it right off. The DK Metcalf trade is official. Just moments ago, it was announced by both the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Metcalf to the Steelers, along with I believe it was a sixth-round pick here. Let me get to it. Yes, Metcalf and a sixth-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 second-round pick, as well as a seventh-round pick. So the Steelers, DK Metcalf, officially on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the building. His press conference just happened a couple of moments ago. And he also has a new number 4, DK in the black and gold. So him and George Pickens, they don't need to fight over who gets number 14. After all, DK going to take the one off of there, keep the number 4. This comes after Metcalf last night said goodbye to the Seattle Seahawks organization on all social medias. And like I said, his press conference going on moments ago there with his fiance, who he just proposed to last night, actually. He gave a shout out to Russell Wilson for setting him up with his now fiance, Normani, I believe her name is. Metcalf also saying to any quarterback that wants to come join us on the winning, come on. If not, good luck on the other side. Absolute dog mentality from DK Metcalf at his opening press conference. And, you know, I said it before, him and George Pickens in the same wide receiver room, just insane. 2 of the best deep threats in the NFL now lining up on opposite sides of the field from each other. Also, the Steelers made official their handful of free agent signings thus far. Corner Brandon Echols signed to a 2-year deal. Running back Kenneth Gainwell to a 1-year deal. Linebacker Malik Harris to a 2-year deal. And the big one so far, corner Darius Slay to a 1-year deal. And those have been made official by the team. The only thing that hasn't been made official yet in terms of free agent signings is this little tidbit right here. The Steelers have a quarterback on roster other than Skylar Thompson right now. That is Mason Rudolph. Came back this morning, re-signing on a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. $4.5 million of that deal guaranteed. So Rudolph, the red zone quarterback, is back in the black and gold. Really happy with that move. You sign him for backup money, but he can also be a fringe starter. I've said it on my stream earlier this morning when the signing of Rudolph was announced that I would love for him to start out the season as the Steelers quarterback. And by all means, Steelers draft a quarterback, Jackson Dart, in the first round, have him sit behind Mason, and then whether Mason takes the starting quarterback job and runs with it as far as he can, by all means, do that, Mason, or he can relinquish that title to Jackson Dart midway through the season. Love seeing that signing and Mason back in the black and gold. Of course, ending on good terms with the fans here. They are welcoming him back with open arms. Another note on DK Metcalf coming to Pittsburgh, said he did talk with Russell Wilson yesterday, hasn't talked to Russell about his future with the black and gold, but he did receive a message from Russ that he is going to love it here in Pittsburgh. So Metcalf embracing the city definitely embracing him, and now we just need to wait and watch to see if it's going to be, in fact, Mason Rudolph throwing him the ball to start next season, or if the Steelers are going to sign one of the 2 top free agent quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Not much new updates on those fronts either. Again, Rodgers just taking his good old time. Russell Wilson visiting with the Cleveland Browns earlier today, and now he is going to be flying to the Giants to meet with them tomorrow. So looks like the Steelers, little mention of them in either of those two camps right now. Again, I'd say just keep Mason Rudolph at this point and start him at quarterback. He can be a fringe starter. He's won games in the league, spent 1 year away with the Tennessee Titans, and glad he's back. He knows the culture and the system, the team, the players here in Pittsburgh. So he is going to get an opportunity, presuming that, it's looking more and more like the possibility of retirement for Aaron Rodgers. That's a real thing. And I don't think the Steelers are on Russell Wilson's radar whatsoever at the time being. A couple other things earlier today related to the Steelers. Steelers brought back wide receiver Scotty Miller on a 1-year deal. Your number 5 or 6 wide receiver in your depth chart, a guy who, is going to be on the 53-man roster, but probably won't get a helmet most days on game day. A guy who can contribute to special teams. That's big if you're a depth guy on the Steelers roster. And also another one breaking in the past hour. The Steelers have brought back wide receiver Ben Skoranek. I mentioned that on my stream earlier today that, with Scotty Miller coming back into the fold now, you looking at your wide receiver room, you have DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, and then Scotty Miller. And you're wondering who's going to take that 5th or 6th spot in that wide receiver room. Turns out it is Skoranek. Still the possibility that the Steelers end up drafting a wide receiver in the draft. That'll probably be a later round venture there. But, Ben Skoranek, Scotty Miller, 2 guys who were on the team last year, they get to come back and have, high hopes of Ben Skoranek making the team yet again. Showed out last year, caught a couple of balls, made a couple of plays on special teams. So would love for him to, repeat that in training camp and make the team next year. Also, another piece of big news here for the Steelers today. They are scheduled to meet with fullback free agent Kyle Juszczyk. Juszczyk of the San Francisco 49ers, 34 years old, got released a couple of days ago. And now Juszczyk on his way to Pittsburgh. Would absolutely be thrilled if the Steelers can get a deal done with him. They need a fullback in this Arthur Smith offense, and I don't know how much more I can take of seeing Connor Hayward line up at fullback. I just really need to see something new. And Kyle Juszczyk, one of the best fullbacks in the NFL. You can put him at number 1 or at the very least number 2 behind Patrick Ricard of the Baltimore Ravens. But Juszczyk will be a phenomenal add to this offense, I believe. And hopefully they can get a deal done whenever he pays visit. Also, his wife, she's a clothes designer, can also team up with head coach Mike Tomlin's wife and collab there in the fashion world. So hopefully we get to see Juszczyk donning the black and gold here soon. And also some other quarterback news for the Steelers. So Aaron Rodgers contemplating retirement. Russell Wilson either going to the Browns or the Giants. If the Steelers don't want to stick with Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback, news came down earlier today that Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins has told Falcons ownership and owner Arthur Blank that he would like to go to a team where he starts in 2025. I think it's almost a certainty that if the Steelers were to be in on Kirk Cousins, that he would, immediately be in the starting role as upon his arrival here in Pittsburgh. So, anything could happen in the NFL. Kirk Cousins could be a Pittsburgh Steeler before not too long. Got benched for rookie quarterback Michael Penix midway through last season down in Atlanta, looking to revive his career after leaving Minnesota and going to Atlanta last year, where he was closer to his family too. A little shocked to see that he would like to go elsewhere, especially, one of the main motives behind him going to Atlanta was to move closer to him and his wife's family. So a little shocked to see that he wants out already, but hey, he's got that itch to start in the NFL. Then I would love to have a motivated Kirk Cousins here in Pittsburgh. Moving along really quickly to some other Steelers news. Last night, another Pittsburgh Steeler, former Pittsburgh Steeler, I should say, got scooped up on the free agent market. That is wide receiver Mike Williams. He signs a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the Los Angeles Chargers. Of course, Williams played for the Chargers for many years, played some of his best football there. 7 seasons in total there. Now he is back catching passes from Justin Herbert once again. Really a shame things didn't work out here. Steelers were interested in him this time last offseason, signed with the Jets. Steelers then brought him in for the playoff push. Played only, I think, about 8 games in the black and gold and really didn't see the field much. So not a shocker that he's not only coming back to Pittsburgh, but going back to LA. And that now makes the Los Angeles Chargers the Pittsburgh Steelers West, because now in a matter of the past week, they've signed Mike Williams, they've signed Najee Harris to a 1-year deal, and they signed Dante Action Jackson to a 2-year deal. So many former Steelers going to LA this time of year. Not shocked at that for Williams. I mean, going back 7 years with the Chargers, made 330 catches for over 5,000 yards and 31 touchdowns. That is elite production there for Williams, and I hope he gets to resurrect his career out in LA, make life a little bit of a hell for Patrick Mahomes in that division. And another tidbit I forgot to mention earlier on the Aaron Rodgers front, apparently the delay in the Aaron Rodgers discussion with the Steelers has nothing to do with money. The Steelers already made their offer. It's just about Rodgers taking his good old time to make a decision. And by all means, Rodgers, take your time now. I'm quite happy and content with Mason Rudolph being back in the Steelers, taking Jackson Dart in the draft. A-okay with that. That, of course, reported by Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Steelers writer Jerry Dulac. 5 of you in here, gonna wait for maybe a couple more people to join in. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, like and share the stream, and you can, feel free to comment in the live chat here as well. In the meantime, gonna hit real quickly on some Penguins and Pirates news. Pittsburgh Penguins in action tonight, I do believe. Yes, Pittsburgh Penguins in action tonight versus the St. Louis Blues. That game starts here at in about 40 minutes at 7 o'clock. Of course, the Penguins and the Blues, 2 of the around bottom feeder teams in the NHL. Penguins coming off a thrilling overtime win versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Bit of a revenge game for them a little while back. Some Penguins news. Penguins signed Wilkes-Barre Scranton forward Avery Hayes to a 2-year entry-level contract. So the Penguins locking up some of their rookie skaters within the past week. Hayes, 44 games in the AHL this year, has 35 points, 17 goals, and 18 assists. Glad to see some production, and really it's Wilkes-Barre Scranton has been the talk of the Penguins organization this year. A phenomenal year for them down in Wilkes-Barre. Looking more here at some Penguins news. Kyle Dubas, general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Earlier today, it was reported that the trade deadline was about a week ago now. Really wanted to keep Rakell forward, having a massive season for the Penguins on the top line with Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust. And he really showed that, putting the price tag of 2 first-round picks in addition to a team's top prospect. That was the minimal asking price for Rickard Rakell, who, again, is having a phenomenal season. Glad to see that, Dubas was thinking so highly of a player with the skill and contract that Rakell has. And they said, last week that the offer would have had to have thrilled the Penguins to move on from Rakell, and that was definitely the price to do so right there. And also, general manager Kyle Dubas is also wary right now of bringing up players from Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Again, he doesn't want to mess up any of the chemistry down there in the AHL, and he's being very cautious about calling up some young players. Mentioned goaltender Yoel Blomqvist, goaltender Sergei Murashov, a handful of forwards, Rucker McGroarty, Ville Koivunen, Vasily Ponomarev, Tristan Brose, and then also you got defensemen as well, like Owen Pickering, and so on and so forth. So being very cautious about upsetting the development of those players down in the AHL right now. And moving on to some Pirates news, not much on that front. The less said about the spring training game they played today, the better. I believe the final score was 15-2, 15-3, something like that. Pirates got absolutely obliterated by the Minnesota Twins. And really, besides Jared Jones, who had a phenomenal start to the game behind him, any and all pitchers that came in for the Pittsburgh Pirates just got absolutely blown out of the water. It was like batting practice for the Minnesota Twins. And also, it actually wasn't Jared Jones scheduled to pitch for the Pirates today. It was actually supposed to be left-handed pitcher Bailey Falter. Falter was scratched from the lineup today out of, quote, an abundance of precaution by the Pirates' senior director of sports medicine, Tom Tomzich. Did not recover well, according to Tomzich, from playing catch yesterday and had just general body soreness. So no, definitive injury for Falter, just, was feeling sore today. And in the spring training, you don't need to really risk anything at all. And yeah, we are just waiting for any more Steelers news right now. Again, doesn't seem like anything is really all that imminent on the Aaron Rodgers front. Could hear a Russell Wilson deal, maybe within the next 24 hours after he supposedly will visit the New York Giants tomorrow. Seems more and more likely that a return to the Steelers is less likely for him. And another piece of quarterback news, I guess you could relate it to the Steelers somehow. In advance of their visit with Russell Wilson tomorrow, the New York Giants hosted free agent quarterback Joe Flacco today. So see if the Giants get a deal done with Flacco that will shut down the chance of Russell Wilson going to the Giants. I mean, really, just looking at the quarterback market right now, it's a good thing that the Steelers got Mason Rudolph done as soon as they did. Just a little bit ago, Gardner Minshew, who was a quarterback I said earlier today that had the Steelers not re-signed Rudolph, I would have loved to see him come in and be that sort of fringe starter who could also yield way to another quarterback. Minshew just went from, I believe it was Las Vegas Raiders was where he was last at. He stays in that division. He's going to be Patrick Mahomes' backup quarterback now with the Kansas City Chiefs. So you got Rudolph to the Steelers, Gardner Minshew to the Chiefs. Joe Flacco's garnering interest from the New York Giants. Russell Wilson seems like his two destinations right now are between the Giants and Browns. And, Aaron Rodgers, he's the belle of the ball right now. He's got the option of the Steelers, the Giants, the Minnesota Vikings, if they offer him a contract. And also, of course, retirement. We saw him strolling that beach last night, contemplating his future. So he's taking his good old time, loves the spotlight, does Rodgers. So no shock there whatsoever. Looking more here at the news from DK Metcalf's press conference. Seems like the media loves him. Metcalf said, no surprise, I'm a physical receiver. Big shout out to my pops, who was an offensive lineman in this league for a little bit. He instilled that in me. Steelers got 2 physical animal wide receivers now in their room. It's just a matter of getting them the ball as often as possible. Hopefully Mason Rudolph can do that if he turns out to be the Steelers, or Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson, or Jackson Dart, whoever the Steelers quarterback winds up being at the beginning of next season. Looking more here again, these trades of becoming official today. The new league year began yesterday afternoon. Also, I find it hilarious that Darius Slay is now teammates with guys like Darnell Washington, who Slay fought with last year, DK Metcalf, who Slay has had a bit of a heated rivalry with. In fact, Slay actually spoke on being Darnell Washington and the Steelers teammates now, and he said, we're teammates now, so we're going to jump other folks. Love seeing that dog mentality from the Steelers players. And, really it was questioned, especially in the Ravens playoff game, how much fight this team had. Well, now they're going to get a whole lot of fight in DK Metcalf and Darius Slay now joining the team. Looking here, Kenny Pickett officially got introduced to the Cleveland Browns organization, was at their facility today, spoke on the possibility of sitting behind Russell Wilson should Russ sign with the Browns. Of course, Kenny demanded a trade out of Pittsburgh last offseason when Russell Wilson was signed by the Steelers, and he said that, he's willing to, share the quarterback room with Russ. All he wanted was a fair shot at starting, which, the Browns organization said he does have a real shot of starting, but regardless, it's going to be one hilarious quarterback room for the Browns if it's, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, and on the men's, Deshaun Watson. So looking more here, scrolling through Twitter, Myles Garrett back at the Browns facility today. Probably met with Russell Wilson. Deshaun Watson was also there. So the Steelers, AFC North brethren, make moves. Not much news today for the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. They've been status quo, quiet. There's a great picture there I'm looking at of DK Metcalf and his wife, Normani, or soon-to-be wife, Normani. And yeah, that will do it pretty much for all the news here today. Great day for Pittsburgh sports news. Mason Rudolph returning to the black and gold. DK Metcalf, Darius Slay and company officially becoming Steelers. The Steelers bringing back 2 wide receivers from last year. 2 guys that can contribute on special teams. Possibly fullback Kyle Juszczyk here, hopefully in the future. And Pittsburgh Penguins about to take the ice here within the next half hour against the St. Louis Blues. Thank all of you for joining me here today. And of course, if you joined me earlier today for my live stream with the breaking news of Mason Rudolph coming back to the black and gold. Exciting time for news here in the city of Pittsburgh. Hopefully more of it to come here. Of course, I could always be back live in an instant should we get massive breaking news, on the quarterback front, another trade, another big signing, and whatnot. So thank you all for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Like, share, and comment the stream. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Appreciate it very much. Love y'all guys, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks.